Hi, today I'm going to be talking about should you make plans? And we're talking about James chapter 4, 13 through 17, and how we shouldn't be boasting about tomorrow. But you know what? We so often do. A few months ago, I went to visit my son and his family. And, before that, I was saying, oh, I'm going to go visit them. I'm going to California. And that's what I was doing. And the excitement, I couldn't help it. But it says in James chapter 13 through 14, come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. And in the King James, it uses the word vapor. And in the ESV, it uses the word mist. And in the NLT, it's kind of interesting. It uses the word fog. And I will show you my journal from this. And it says, your life is like the morning fog. It's here a little while, then it's gone. And that just so perfectly depicts it for me. Because like in the winter, after it's snowed and then it warms up, so like more than normal, the everything gets foggy and the fog can get real thick. And then all of a sudden you're through that area of fog and it's gone. And my parents lived till they were 96 and 7.5, and they passed away. My mom a year ago tomorrow, and my dad 4 months before that. They lived to be like they were married 75 years. And even though they lived such a long time, I'm sure that they would look back and say, the time just vanished. It just went like a vapor. And since their minds were alert right up until the end, they could remember back from when they were quite young. And well, sometimes my mom would say, well, oh, that's just too long ago. I can't remember that. But a lot of times she actually did. They hadn't totally lost their memories, and they were just amazing. So James, what he's doing here, he's pointing out how important it is not to boast about our plans. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be making plans. This morning, I sat for a half an hour or so planning out my day and my week and what I was going to do for my blog. And if you listen to the end, and if I remember, I'm going to tell you what happened to my day that kind of has derailed it and is making it hard for me to get all the things done that I wanted to do. Not that I ever get everything done. I always over plan. I always have this idea that I can get so much done. And isn't that true? We over plan. We plan so much. And yet it isn't up to us what we get done. Even if we plan and we're not saved, or we don't believe that or we think that we have control over our plans and can change the course of our life, we can't, because at any given moment, God can put his hand on that and can change it. One time, almost 3 years ago, I had just done a live video, something like this, maybe not quite. And then I got on my bike and rode down to the mailbox a quarter mile away, and I came back and fell off my bike and broke my clavicle. That changed my whole plans for my summer because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't drive for 6 weeks. My arm was in a sling, and just everything was different. So that's what I mean. We can plan, and it doesn't mean that we shouldn't plan. God wants us to, but we need to plan with the perspective that James is giving us for this. Because he goes on in chapter 4, verse 15 through 17, and this is what he shares through the Holy Spirit. It's not just James writing this. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. So James is saying through the Lord, speaking through him, that it's wrong to boast. We shouldn't be boasting about the next day or later that day, what we should be doing. We should always be like saying what we're going to be doing and saying, if the Lord wills this, or some type of thing, the Lord, or Lord willing, something like that. And that's not wrong book. And that's what I shared here, where I said, Lord willing. And this little is like a dandelion. You ever seen one of those things and it's white and you blow it and all the things go all over? It's like a vapor where we it just goes really quick. We blow it and it's gone. And it floats through the whole air. Maybe bits of our life will be seen by people, and what we do really matters, because some of it might be like a legacy or a heritage that goes after us. And that's why it is so important to plan your day and your life so that you use it for God's glory. But to think that you have control over it, you don't. But what we need to do is we need to give God the control. Give him give him permission to have control over our lives. He will do that anyway, but something happens inside you when you surrender to God with your attitude. Your arrogance leaves and you start having a humble attitude, which is what's pleasing, really well pleasing to the Lord. So James has confronted his readers in the previous verses that I just read, verses 13 and 14, and he doesn't just leave it at that. He gives them something better to say than boasting about what they plan to do. And so he wants them to say something like, I'm going to do these videos today, Lord willing. In other words, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to leave the Lord the permission, my permission to do that. Maybe that's kind of an odd way of saying it, but it really is true. I mean, God has a control over your life anyway, but we are allowing God to do that. And then he can be glorified through our lives. When we're resisting and we're putting up the barriers, he might do what he wants done in our lives, but the response we have is totally different. It's out of arrogance instead of out of humility. And what James is saying, he's saying that when you boast, it's evil. And I know a lot of times we don't even call it boasting. We don't even think of it as being boasting. We would say, oh, no, I wasn't boasting, right after we just boasted. And we wouldn't think it was evil. We wouldn't, that's just the way we would say, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that. But James is pinpointing it and saying, yes, it is. It's evil. And whoever knows, like now you know, because you've watched this video, you know what's right and you don't do it. It's sin for you now. And so that's a really good thing to remember. And I have a little story to tell you. When I was just a really little girl, I lived overseas and my parents were missionaries. So the missionaries would often say, I'm going to do such and such, Lord willing. They would tack that on. And my little rebellious heart, I would kind of react to that and sometimes think that they, just overuse the phrase. They said it all the time. And so what can happen with that? I grew up and I tend not to say that. I don't think I usually ever say that. I think I do think about how God is in control of my future. I do it, but I'm not saying it. And when you say that and you say, Lord willing, it strengthens that. And it also is a testimony of the Lord's control over your life, and that you have willingly given him the control, and that you know that you don't know what's going to happen the rest of your day or in your future, but that it's okay. And that's what happens when you say, Lord willing. You are giving God the total surrender of your life. You're not controlling it and grasping onto it and trying to make something happen. And you could be trying to make some ministry thing happen. And when it's in your own strength, it just doesn't cut it. When it's in the Lord's strength, and because you gave the results and the outcome to him, he can use it for his glory because he's being honored. And so it's very powerful, the words that we choose to say or not say. And even though I was just a little girl, it affected my whole life and my outlook on those words, so that maybe I haven't been the testimony that I would like to be. And I'm just going to challenge myself, and I'm going to challenge you to say, Lord willing, or if the Lord wills, or however you want to put it. Maybe there's some millennial way we can say it that makes it current for today. I can't think of any. So if you can, tell me in the comments below. And that's all. But I have one more thing. Oh, I was going to tell you what happened today that derailed my day and my plans. Well, this is what happened. I sat down this morning and I planned my day out. I think I told you that. And I made a list of the things that I wanted to accomplish today and for the rest of the week. I kind of planned the whole week out. And then what I've been doing is I'm also doing these videos for James, and I'm doing them in my Facebook Live once a week. And the one I just did is a little different than this. You never come up with the same thing. I have things to say, but I don't have it totally scripted. So just in the same way, my day is not totally scripted. So I'm also making what's called an automation, a series of James emails in my email server for my subscribers that subscribe to my James email list. Well, I had I think I was doing the 34th one today. 30 of them, 31, totally disappeared, and I didn't, as far as I know, do anything to delete them. I didn't know that was going to happen. It's devastating if I can't get it back. I'm in touch with the company. You can pray about it. But you see, I had no idea. I had none. I had things under control, but I didn't. I had this plan. And if I had, I would have been, yes, I'm upset, but would have been more upset if I hadn't been saying, Lord willing, with whatever happens with this day. And the funny thing is I had just written about what I just spoke to you about. And so, maybe the evil one has a plan, but we're going to give God the glory for whatever the outcome is. So that's what happened. And it could have been far worse. So I hope that you subscribe, hit the red button below, and subscribe, because I put these on about once a week, and a little slower because I've been trying to learn how to edit them. So I'm trying to bring it up to a different level. So I thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye.